Where I met Gabe Miller was I had a chance to coach him at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. He was such an inspiration as a player. He was a leader on and off the court. His infectious smile and attitude spread to everybody on the team. And the year we won the national championship, went 31-0. He was a huge part of that team and somebody that all his teammates respected, and great student athlete and first-class individual from a first-class family.
Gabe started playing basketball as soon as he could walk. He was an action guy. He didn't sit around much.
Played for me 3 years on the varsity, starting point guard, and reflections on Gabe go back quite a ways, as I saw him play as a young player in middle school, coming up to the high school. And you could see that he was a special player, talent-wise and personality-wise.
First off, I think if Gabe were here, he would say that those were the happiest days of his life. You know, spent in that gym with his teammates and playing for coaches who he admired and who influenced him in positive ways.
Being somewhat of a gifted athlete and a very good student, you could see that he had qualities on the court that would make him a pretty decent player, and if he worked at it, which he did, make him an outstanding player, especially at the high school and college level. We could play both ends of the floor. We could score, we could play defense, and we had to win on the road. We won at Sheboygan North the first night in a good ball game. We beat Sheboygan South at South the next night, and then we went to the sectional and ended up playing a team we had lost to in double overtime at West Bend and beat them.
Gabe takes it all the way, right to the basket for Miller! Nice play!
A very close ball game, and Gabe had a tremendous ball game that day. I mean, he was all over the court. Great defensive player, had a number of steals for us at crucial times in the ball game, hit some big shots.
He's tipped it away, here comes Gabe. Gabe all the way down, nice play, score!
And along with a lot of the other players who played well, we won that ball game. It was close, and then beat Menasha in the finals.
It's over, we're going to Madison!
Unfortunately, at the state tournament, we drew the #1 seed, and they did win the state championship. But the kids really played and gelled very well as a ball club. And of course, Gabe's leadership really helped us a lot in that case.
I think certainly that whole season of the state tournament, when they you know, marched into Sheboygan and beat North and South back to back, and then on to Oshkosh for the sectionals, certainly those were highlights. But a lot of the littler, funnier things, you know, I remember one time they were playing Kiel, and there was a big pile up on the floor, and he came out, and we could see that he was, and you could see it on the TV too, that he was looking at something, and here somebody bit him on the bottom of the pile, and he never liked anybody from Kiel after that. I remember the night that he became the all-time leading scorer, and a couple of years later then Dave Michael-Isaac did it, broke Gabe's record, but he broke the record on a shot that hit every part of the rim and the backboard. It was an awful looking shot, it was ugly, it was about the worst looking shot. You know, he told me after the game, he said, you know, that one shouldn't have counted. I don't want to break the record on a shot like that.
You know, my parents made like this real big deal out of him because that's what grandparents do. And they got all excited, you know, all these points and all this stuff, and my mom would rush down out of the stands and give him a big hug, and he didn't mind that at all. I mean, he was all about family. Then she'd always recite how many points he had, and he would always remind her, he says, Grandma, you know, I can't make those points if teammates don't share the ball. I mean, it's a team sport. I mean, he was always trying to make sure that other people got credit. That made me very proud, that he was humble.
Well, Gabe was an excellent teammate because, you know, you can always tell by how other players react to what he does and things that he would do on the court. He was a guard. He could play either the point or the two. Very good outside shooter, took care of the basketball, and those people that know how I am, that tends to get you some playing time. And he had one more year to play. Unfortunately, that was never able to happen, and he was going to be a starter for us the next year. He was a great reserve, but in basketball, you know, you play 9, 10 guys anyhow, and he definitely earned his minutes, and he was a big part of that championship team and a big part of all the inspiring things that have to take place during the season in order to go undefeated. You know, it's not easy, but he was one of those guys that always made sure in the huddles and in his play that we weren't going to be on the right-hand side of the score.
That does it, the Pioneers! NCAA Division III National Champions!
Oh my God, they did it! What a night for the Pioneers!
Gabe was a hard worker, dedicated to the game, dedicated to doing what was right. He respected the game, so therefore anytime you have players who respect the game, they tend to respect everything else. He respected his education, he respected other people's rights, and he was good in the community. I've never met an individual during that time or since that ever had anything bad to say about Gabe Miller. He's just, he was that kind of an inspiration to our school.
He had a great influence on the younger kids in a smaller community. It's even probably more important as they look up to him.
You know, I think he wanted to give back. I think he really, really sincerely understood that this was a gift and that this wasn't just handed to him, and that he should use it wisely, and now he should give it back.
Well, I think Gabe's spirit lives on, will live on forever at Platteville, because when we put his name on the academic honor roll list for all the student athletes, and one of the things my son, who is more proud of, he says, than anything else, is that he made the Gabe Miller academic honor roll, and he was very excited about that. And he also wore Gabe's number 12, at Platteville when he played for me a couple of years.
I think all those things, you know, you put it all together and, you know, you paint a picture of a pretty nice young man.